Hi everybody, it's Gondorian here, taking over from Kevin and Lewis, although Lewis is going to step in for me commentating on the next match. I believe we're now going to join the winners bracket final. Is that right, guys?
Yes, Game 2 is up between Leo and Monomax. We're going to be jumping into that one.
So, well, I could try a bit of speed commentating, or give it to Lewis, he's quite a speed commentator.
Yeah, well, we'll let Lewis do his epic speed commentary. He loves it.
Right, here goes then. Jumping in now. Yeah,
okay.
Of course. Right, it's
Go.
Okay, give me a sec. I have to pull up. I can't see it.
Okay, well, I'll try a bit of speed commentating.
Okay, well, give me a sec. I should be able to see in a minute.
Right, so Rainbow went first. Saladar, Sack, both the Sack. Nobody's played anything yet. K.A. Leo now. Ironhide Karash.
Right. I'm ready to jump in when you're ready.
Death. You've just seen the Death Collector played, have you?
Yes.
Yeah, and then a Gargoyle. You carry on there, man.
Okay, Gargoyle comes down. Crash is being shown how little Crash means in the matchup by attacking the Death Collector. Interesting decision there, because Death Collector can eat the Ironhide Crash now, but he decides to forego that by just advancing the board position with the Wrath of the Forest and killing the Gargoyle, because, again, we said an awful lot over this last weekend that Gargoyle is a very respected ally in this matchup. Leo throwing down the antimatter early, which is something he didn't see earlier on in the last match that proved to be his undoing. Deciding to save his ability, considering that he doesn't want to allow the point against Wrath of the Forest draw going. He's going to play the Darkwood Wraith. It's considering that he cannot let that Death Collector hang on for too much longer, as it's just going to get huge. He's refilling his opponent's hand. Luckily, he has antimatter in play to help kind of build up his own hand, but he's currently down by a sizable margin in the board and in hand, but that Sacrificial Lamb is going to make that up, or at least in hand advantage. Another Gargoyle coming down, who has been such a thorn in the side of both players in this entire matchup, but that Soul Seeker will allow him to do away with the Gargoyle and just keep the pressure up against Leo. He's going to choose to preserve every ounce of health on his Gargoyle, seeing that the health on his Gargoyle is more premium than his own health. That right now, interesting to see if he goes for Dimension Ripper, which I do not believe we have seen from him in all event, which is likely a sideboard card. I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to be doing in this particular matchup, but I have heard that it does put in a lot of work in this matchup, so it'll do well. All three cards are burned off of the Dimension Trip immediately, but not to be pushed out of board advantage. Monomax just proceeds to establish as dominating a board presence as he can muster. Mind Control comes out in front of Gargoyle. Again, trying to 2-for-1 him, 3-for-1 in this case, actually chipping away the armor, the ally, and the weapon, and to continue to help clean up the board and begin to rebuild the board state. Leo uses his ability on both allies, and Death Mage that to make sure that he maintains the former card advantage. Wrath of the Forest comes down again for Monomax. Leo's going to contribute his own Thaddeus to the board to kill that Thaddeus, but allowing the point to draw in for losing the ally. So they each only have one card stolen from each other, and that one card from Monomax is a Darkwood Wraith. If Mind Control comes down again, which if I'm Monomax, I'm particularly happy to see that he's Mind Control on his own ally, so that I don't have to worry too much about my guys making it through. Soul Seeker comes down again.
I think you did it. I think you speed commentated and caught up.
Are we caught up now?
I believe we are.
Leo's thinking. I think that means we're caught up.
If someone's thinking, then we've probably caught up, and the speed commentary portion is probably finished.
Great work there, Lewis.
Great job.
Nice job.
Thanks.
I just wanted to...
lost some viewers, though.
No.
We lost 15 viewers on that. I feel so horrible.
You just went too fast for me. You lost them. You're like, ah!
I just wanted to clarify that the Black Mask actually hasn't won his match yet. It's 1-1 in that one. Game 2 was actually a freeze. Game 2 looked like Black Mask won, but it was actually a freeze, so that didn't count for anyone. Black Mask himself confirmed it was a freeze, so a sync error as it were.
About to win, weren't they? Doesn't that count as a win?
No. Game 2. You didn't, game 2 went like 3 turns and froze.
Okay.
That was yeah.
Yeah.
So it looked like Black Mask had won, but he actually hadn't.
Okay. And over to this one, it's looking like Leo's in trouble, given that he's on.
Zaldar kind of has a lot of things.
Look at that board, though.
The board is kind of crazy. Obvious. There's the Fury and Terror. It's exactly what I was going to say. That's the one that kind of kills the flooded boards.
How much of a factor will Wrath of the Forest be? That terrible card designed by Martin JF.
Wrath of the Forest will probably be. It won't be bad. I mean, you got a Fury and Terror there who's definitely going to die. You can block damage. You can draw a card off that Fury and Terror's death. Zaldar is very close to death himself, so it's getting to that point. Problematic though, because even though the Furion did 2, it wasn't enough to get like a wipe. That's about the best he can do.
Oh, it's gone.
The Morbid is gonna stick around though.
The Knight's gone. Yeah, the Morbid's sticking around to watch some more death. Maybe the Death Collector will show up to collect that death. Zaldar's got 7 energy.
Yeah, he's got a ton. He's really been saving it up. He can now do the double turn spam. And as we hear some commentary from the kids in the background.
Do we?
I heard it.
In that case, I better head off and let Lewis get back involved again, I think. So, Lewis, you ready to tag back in? I'll try and deal with the kids.
We got a tag match going here.
That's the problem. The kids are overpowered, so I'll duck out. Bye.
Hurry back. All right, Lewis is back. Welcome back, Lewis. Oh no, it happened again.
Yeah.
Darkwood Wraith was used to bounce an ally, which then went into the opponent's hand. Whoops.
Yeah, it's one thing you have to keep tabs of when you have stuff like Dimension Ripper in your deck that, you know, if your opponent plays an ally that they stole from you, that you want to bounce that ally. I believe we saw that occur yesterday where they stole an ally and they had 2 copies in play and they bounced the wrong copy and bounced.
Saw that yesterday. We also saw Slowtown make that mistake earlier today where he bounced his opponent's ally back to his hand. It was kind of like, oh, it's happened a couple times now. It's just one of those pitfalls of Dimension Ripper. It does crazy things, you know, and since cards like Darkwood Wraith return it to the owner's hand, it goes back to whoever owned the card originally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to pay a lot of attention to what's going on in play so you can really make sure you get the absolute value out of it. I mean, it's not impossible. It's just it's a detailed infraction. You just have to pay attention a lot to get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's possible, but it's the sort of thing you really do have to kind of remember. I mean, hey, even like writing it down, like making like a little note, like that could be the difference.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that depending upon what people's experiences are, that's like stuff that people use anytime the information. I always kind of write out little notes. Every little bit of advantage helps. What we're seeing right here is Monomax pushing advantage, just not wanting this to go to another game. I believe this is game 2, right?
This is game 2, yes.
Yes, I believe, yeah. So he's pushing advantage, not wanting to go to a third game. And Leo, without the antimatter in play, can't really dig for much answers to pull himself out of this. And with such low life is, maybe a little bit behind.
There's a Disciple. The Disciple of I don't like your hero ability. He doesn't like many hero abilities, that Disciple. He just decides to be immune to like all of them. He's like, nope, not happening.
Absolutely. We are quickly approaching the final stretch, you guys. We're heading to the final rounds of the event.
Oh, geez, down to 3. 3 health. That is getting so low. So, would Soul Reaper be timely here?
I believe Soul Reaper would be quite timely.
Pretty sure it's like Soul Reaper or bust at this point.
Yeah.
Come on, Leo. Pull out all the stops. Show us that magic. You've been working magic this entire time. Undefeated. In both days, he's always been in the winner's bracket. He's never dropped down. Can he keep doing that? Okay, this is a shriek. That's a start. Still has 2 cards in hand, so he's got options. Something's in there.
Yeah. He does, but does he have enough options?
Does he have the option he needs? He needs that one in particular. Ooh, Fury and Terror. Nice. He just completely wipes the board. That'll do it. That's an option.
That will. However,
Sadly, his life is still at 3, though. It's like even a weapon and ability next turn would still kill him.
Yeah, yes, or a Thaddeus could do. I mean, he's still very
Thaddeus
very
plus
much behind
Soul
8 Ball.
Seeker would be a killing blow. Oh, not a Fear and Terror, so that's not gonna be it. Kind of funny to notice that Fury and Terror laughs at Fury and Terror. You know, being immune to yourself is quite the perk.
Indeed,
Look
it
at
is.
yourself in the mirror and you're like, not even happening.
Well, the best part is the fact that Leo has to find an answer for that Fury and Terror. He can't kill it with his Fury and Terror.
Yep. His other one got poisoned and his Fury's just sitting there going, well, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, well,
There he goes.
he's on a
Big hard
one-turn
with
clock.
antimatter. So he's finding 2 more cards. I mean, there you go. If you wanted answers, there's one of them. It's got to be in those 2 cards somewhere. If it's not, I think he's quite dead. So he drops an ally. Now what's that card? If he dropped Morbid Acolyte and kept that card, even though Morbid's a 3-drop, that must be something, right? Like that's got to be something.
I
that
would hope it's either a relevant card or a handshake.
He left. It was a handshake. He pulled a handshake out of antimatter and was like, I'll just cast this, and then left the game.
That's kind of how that works.
Well, that means that Monomax just 2-0'd L in the winner's bracket finals. That puts Monomax into the grand finals and drops L down to the loser's bracket for the first time this weekend. That is pretty impressive on Monomax's part. He's been on fire today. No one can touch him.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now the question is, what should we jump back into Black Mask, you think?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, we watched one game, and we might as well watch the next, right? See how they finish up.
Yeah,
it looked pretty strong for Black Mask that game we watched. I think that could just happen over again. I know Kevin is definitely the Badaru fan. He seems to want that build to go pretty far.
Yes.
Let's just see if they got that game going. BP Black Mask.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There it is,
All right.
10 minutes in.
All right, just 1 second.
Hey, I guess I'll commentate on this now while the kids are quiet. I found some tape to put over their mouths, so I'll commentate on this now.
Welcome back.
I forgot to mute my stream, so we'll get some echo now, which will be super.
Be super cool.
Looks like this is a stuck game or something.
I think it's on our part.
That's the free side. Oops. We'll try again. It did give me a weird error, actually.
Yeah, it gave me that error too, and I had that error message show up yesterday as well. It's like an error where you can't watch the replay, but the game is running.
Oh.
So pretty much, it's like saying, don't watch this, but it is happening.
Well, Alright, we'll try again.
That's interesting. I don't really know how to fix that
I've
particular
never
error.
seen that one. Let's
Yeah.
turn over to Kyle Poole and ask him, what's that one all about? I've never seen that error before. Well, I haven't.
Yeah, Kyle,
anyway.
do you know about the error joining game error? It would appear not.
It's just investigating.
I have
Oh,
not
cool.
seen that error before. It sounds like you're having a problem joining the server to view the replay. I'm not sure why.
I think it's that replay in particular too. I'm going to try
It's
joining
too
some-
hot for
yeah.
TV, that's the problem. So, because
It could be that there's too many people watching it already. There is a number of user limit to the rooms.
Oh,
right, well,
that'd
everybody,
be it.
please stop watching it.
Yeah, because I tried to just watch some random game and it's working perfectly fine, so it is isolated to that one.
So those people will completely screw up all of our coverage unless they get booted out somehow.
Apparently, I guess. I didn't know that was an issue, but it seems it is.
So Lion Dragon just won. As long as we is that 1-1 now, or is that
That would have been game 3 if you just won the one now.
oh, right. Please can people hold off jumping into but that's 1-1 though, isn't it? Oh no, because you won the first one. So Lion
Won the
Dragon's
first
through
one.
there.
Yeah, that means that Lion Dragon is actually through.
He's gonna face Mojojojo.
Jojo.
Have they met yet? Did they meet yesterday? Is there any way Kyle can do a hotfix
Emig
on the server to let more people watch games? Just so we can't run into this again?
Yeah, I'm looking into that now.
Yeah, okay. Super. It's handy to have the server guy online with
Yes,
us.
actually.
Any
I'm
other
looking-
issues anybody wants fixing? Yes, I know there are, but this one.
Yeah, Lion Dragon and Emig, they actually played in Losers Round 5 yesterday. And if you look at the current bracket, it's Losers Round 5 again. They're meeting up in the exact same spot.
It's a Zalbainbo.
The heroes have completely changed, but like they're meeting up in the exact same bracket slot.
And they've got to, Mojojo has had a while to prepare. Lion Dragon's got to get his deck back to normal again before he starts, and probably compose himself. I don't know what time it is where he lives, probably 4 a.m. or something, 4 a.m., 6 a.m.
Probably pretty late, yeah.
Is that a rough weekend?
It's been a long weekend. I mean, part of this competition is supposed to be the idea that it's a bit of an endurance contest. You got to have the stamina to just grind it all out. Like, it is somewhat intentional. They have to play through these hard, grueling matches. And just imagine, you win this, and then you still end up in the best of 7 playoff, which is like another grueling amount of games that you have to kind of go through. It's meant to really test your endurance.
Leo is still in though. He's just in the lower bracket now. So the winner of Lion Dragon and Mojojo will be facing Leo.
Yeah,
right?
Leo's still there. It's just the first time Leo's ever been in the loser's bracket, but he only needs to win 1 game to get right back into the grand finals. But this time that means that it's monomax that gets to take the little refresher break. You know, maybe eat some dinner, get some
She's
food,
on the top there.
scout his opponents. It's the
He's up there
benefit to being
chilling.
the winner.
Because he is in the best of 5 final. The other guys down the bottom, they've still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they're
Few more
still biting
matches.
their fingernails, waiting to see if they can make it or not.
Any news on when the next match is starting up?
Yeah, I think Lion Dragon just needs to side back out, get his main deck going again. Then they should be jumping into it.
Excellent. So it looks like Bainbo and Zalazar have been stars of the show on day 2.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
keep meeting up.
Well, basically, if you think about it, there's so many Zaladars and Banebows just in the brackets. Like, so many people decided to use those two heroes that they're just showing up everywhere because they are everywhere. They make up like the large bulk of the field. There's a couple one-ups, but the Zaladars and Banebows have been like really, really present. So I mean, it's almost inevitable that some of them are going to kind of trickle through.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of Zaladar Banebo face-offs. Now Banebows travel through to the final. Question is, will Zaladar trickle back through to the best of 5, or
Get that revenge match.
Banebo?
Poor Kevin though, his Badaru champion lost. He really wanted his resource destruction Badaru to go all the way. It did not. It made a very good showing for itself. Finished in the top 6, but didn't quite make it.
No!
And there he is, on cue.
The Skype image actually looks perfect for that kind of background there.
For those of you who are unsure if there was a transcript, that would be an end with an awful lot of U's coming after it.
So the players in this match now are in the top 4, yeah? And then the
Yep.
winner of this
All
will
the
go
remaining
in.
players are top 4. The one who loses this one is in 4th, and then the one who loses the next game is in 3rd, and then they play for 1st and 2nd afterwards.
Any update from Kyle on whether he's been able to hack the server to allow lots and lots of viewers? If not, he might need to hack the server to stop people viewing.
Well, either that or you have to stop like everybody but us, considering that it would be weird if you stopped us from viewing too. I think that would just defeat the purpose.
Yeah, if he just gives like superpowers to my account, then I'd be very grateful. We could do with them, and then yeah, I could just hop into whatever game. Doesn't matter how many are already viewing it. That would also work. As Mips pointed out, providing I get in the game before other people, I'll be in and safe. And I do have quick reflexes, so we might be okay then. Hey, what was
All
that?
right. Both players have contacted each other. They're just about to start up the game now.
Okay.
It's really interesting, though, that both these guys are meeting up in that exact same slot.
I think this confirms those guys are
They've
top 4
they
material.
top forward twice. Like they must be that good.
Does this mean they get double the amount of foils? Or was it something else?
It does in fact mean they win that top 4 prize twice. They win it for both the days. They get the foils. They get the foils again.
Maybe in 2 accounts.
Possible.
If anybody on the stream sees that the game is up, then let me know. I think my screen should refresh and show.
Oh yeah, it
show
will.
when
It
it's
will.
up. We should do.
Uh,
we should do.
Emig just rechecking his deck. He wants to make sure it is in the correct configuration.
Yep.
Which you definitely want to do because you can get game losses if it's not in the correct configuration.
Definitely want to do that. Shout out to a player called Slick Like Bacon for a wild name. I suppose at this stage of Shadow Era now, when you're just creating a new account, there's a good chance that obvious names are gone. So you're like, what should I do? Oh, I'll name myself something related to bacon. That's probably not gone. That person was right.
All about the bacon. So what's your prediction? Yesterday was Lying Dragon that defeated Emigor. Do you see it happening again this time, or do you think it'll go differently, given the fact that there's both sideboards and different hero choices in play this time?
Didn't Mojojo use Zaladar yesterday?
Check the list, but regardless, Line Dragon was playing. He was playing.
Yeah,
left.
Lion Dragon was a different hero. Yes.
So the matchup is different. It's not the same as it was. It kind of changes how it could turn out.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to Lion Dragon just because he won yesterday. He's already just dispensed with Zaladar, hasn't he? Or is he not? So that was Hunter Mirror, wasn't it, a minute ago?
I'm pretty sure at this point he's been able to beat most
Right,
things.
it's up. Boom. We're in. Let's rock.
Oh, we got to get in quickly before it decides to cap out on us.
It seems to have let me in.
Yeah, let me
No
in too.
problems.
No error contacting server or whatever it was. Error connecting
Right.
the game.
Okay,
Well, right
so
away we see sleeve advantages in play
the cover of Night Sleeves.
versus
Excellent. Antimatter's down. So we have Lewis here to chip in with the commentary. So I can go and make sure the chimps are taped and tied up.
This time around, I do not hear them. Whereas last time
I am here, and I would like to alert everybody that I am calling PETA on GDC. Tying up
Calling
chimps.
Peter. That's Peter.
Oh,
Yes.
I see. You're calling
Right,
Peter.
yeah.
carry on. I'm muting then.
I'll take
Enjoy.
pizza.
Enjoy, everybody.
Kevin wants pizza.
You know what?
So
You are
Morbid
all
Acolyte is
shameless.
played because Morbid Acolyte wants pizza too.
You are all shameless.
And then
Are they
Infernal
shameless?
Gargoyle joins the pizza party next. There you see Karash doing his thing, not taking damage from Morbid Acolyte. Banebow plus Thaddeus finishes off that extremely durable Acolyte. Puts Banebow into a pretty lead to start the game.
Yeah, I mean, with Antimatter and Zaldar's ability up, he's still within comfort realms. He has plenty of health. The game is still plenty early. He still has plenty of options. He's one, if not two, of these odds are likely doomed. So
Now, what's the
And
play here? What do you
Gore is
get back to?
well, he's taking a page out of Leo's book by being very, very thorough and methodical and deliberate with his plays.
Hey man, you know I'm getting this trend. If you're methodical and really think through your plays, you seem to top four. It seems to work for both of them.
Yes. Well, considering
And
his ability,
Leo back-to-back top four finishes, so clearly there's
Yeah.
something there.
Yep. Well, considering that Lion Dragon just wanting to keep the pressure up, considering that he does not have any forms of drawing play, nor does he have much of a hand to speak of either. Just throwing down the Plasma Behemoth to just keep the pressure on.
Ooh, yeah, the Plasma Behemoth is that's a pretty scary beastie there. But
It is, but
mind
it
control,
will be
yes, but mind control, of course. I knew that.
We
I
all
was
saw
about to
that.
say, I was about to say Ephirian Terror plus ability would have been a really nice way to take it out with 5 damage. But mind control is perfectly acceptable too.
Yeah. Not much of a second option, although the Fear and Terror would have been a little bit neater, as it could have
Yeah, you would have had
like
the 4/3
well.
ally on the board. That's
Well,
the big difference.
Well, you would have killed up taken out the Goggle as well, I believe, so.
It was a bit like Valley, wasn't it?
Yeah. Goggle might have stayed out. Lost track of the Goggle's original health. It's that side effect of switching between windows. Interesting, the Shadow Vein. I guess he just does not have a way to deal with the Plasma Behemoth, so he's
Yeah,
just going to start
that's basically a telltale that behemoth is going to survive, friend.
at least one turn, possibly more. I don't know if you're Lion Dragon here. Do you attack with either, or are you content to just slam your ability, hit for 4, and pass the turn?
I think you're content. That's an option. Yeah, you could just do that because, I think you could get away with that. The real question is, what will happen in this sacrifice phase? Nope, no sacrifice. Gone to the action phase, activated antimatter, and with 3 resources remaining, what can be done?
Well, the question is he still digging, or does he have some semblance of an answer ready?
Well, he's definitely digging. The whole antimatter activate thing, I get the feeling he's digging for something. Drops the Thaddeus, plays the Thaddeus. That doesn't seem very, commanding.
No, it's not, but starting next turn, that behemoth is likely to be answered, so the behemoth may not be...
Oh, there goes Acid Jet, so that's not a thing. See, in this turn he decided not to activate the Plasma Behemoth ability.
Well, that may buy the behemoth another turn.
That's true. And we know for a fact that 2 Thaddeus's have just been used up because 1 got discarded.
Well, if this behemoth is not killed this turn, that does mean that Line Dragon has him dead on board.
That's true.
And that's likely the case here.
I think you've just called a victory. Sir, I think you've done it again. Too much profit for us. Why you be predicting these wins before we even know? However, all is not lost because now we head into sideboarding where the game can be shuffled up quite a bit. And finishes them with style with the Thaddeus instead of the ability.
Indeed. So that was game 1, correct?
Now, it was game 1.
So
now we're in game sideboard. That was the unsideboarded game. Now we're in the sideboarding land.
Well, we've seen 2 different variations of the match. We've seen this matchup played an awful lot today. And not much we can say about it. This is what the players chose to bring, and this is what we're showing for you guys. We've seen 2 different variations, or 2 different approaches from Zaladar facing Bainbow here. One where he decides to be a little bit more late game, bringing some more Disciples of Ardmore and just kind of be a little bit more controlling and a little bit more denial-based. But we've also seen a version where he brings in Dimension Rippers and just plays for shenanigans and tries to really, throw his opponent that way. What do you think are the pros and cons of each approach?
Obviously with Dimension Ripper, I mean, that card in general is just, it's a bag of tricks. You never know what you're going to get. There's no consistency to it. So at the same time, you might rip something really, really good from your opponent's deck and be like, oh yeah, I can say use your Shadow Font to win the game. Or it could be the exact opposite. You could hand away a win. Like yesterday we saw the Amber deck that handed away its Enrage and then lost the game because it handed away its Enrage. So that's more like of a risky but inconsistent but sometimes worth it type of line of play. Whereas the first one you described was the more straight and narrow, okay, here's the solid, I'm going to win doing this path.
True. Now, considering that this is, this is this late in the tournament, there's that much more pressure on now here. Do you really think they adjust a little bit, considering that, Dimension Ripper in that matchup you mentioned from yesterday against, as an Amber against a Mage, there is at least one specific card you do not want to give away. Are there any specific cards you are actually fearful of giving away in this matchup with Dimension Ripper? Any real downsides to it?
Well, if I'm Zaladar and I have Dimension Ripper, there's obviously my Shadow Fonts. I might not want to give those away because that gives me my ability, and I don't really want to give it to my opponent if I can help it. Even giving away fatties could be problematic. Or even maybe giving away say even your own Shadow Vein or something. Just it's the stuff that you really like to lean on. Giving it to your opponent can be a problem. Or even let's say I don't have an antimatter and I give away my antimatter to my opponent, then he plays it and he starts getting ahead of me with my Dronjin. That's a terrible feeling.
Well, I mean, as Mip in the chat mentioned, Soul Reaper is another card that you really don't want to give them, as Bamba doesn't really have as much benefit from his graveyard as Zaldar does, where we've seen lots of Zaldar so far running Eternal Renewals as kind of a late game trump.
Yeah, there you go. Eternal Renewal. That's another one. Give away my Eternal Renewal. In fact, Kevin's little story against Demchi is that Demchi did in fact give away his Eternal Renewal, and then he lost because of it. He took like a one game and turned it into like this giant long game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that case, I mean, neither one of them are using heroes with abilities that did direct damage, so it wasn't quite the same type of matchup. But
the key in that example is that the game was won, but then you gave away Eternal Renewal, and now it wasn't.
Yeah.
So what do you think you would pack in your sideboard? What would be your Banebo sideboard to say counter Zaldar? How do you counter Zaldar, do you think?
Well,
if this was you doing it?
Well, it would depend upon a few things. Sideboard is obviously not built on the fly, something you bring into the tournament. And, there's certain things you have to think, well, what are your strong matchups? Do you really need to sideboard in more stuff for that? Or is it strong enough that you don't need to sign anything in, or you can add more stuff for the matchups you're weak against? And I agree that Disciple of Obmore is definitely a strong card. I might main deck maybe 2 of them, and I'll have an extra 2 more in the sideboard. I think I might main deck, maybe 2 Shrieks and have an extra 1 or 2 Shrieks in the sideboard maybe. Sever Ties, maybe an extra 2 or so Sever Ties in the sideboard, just depending upon which matchup comes up. So, I mean, there are a few things you can pack in your sideboard. For this matchup particularly, maybe an extra Soul Seeker if you don't have any. If you have 3 instead of 4. Spill Your Bands, one we talked about earlier at length, that is a great addition for this matchup, which we have not seen all day. So I'm not sure if anybody decided to bring it in.
And Game 2 is up.
Yes.
And yes, you're right. Spell Eater Bands is definitely one of them silver bullet type of cards that could really help against Zaldar's ability. Usually Zaldar's ability is used for killing. Can't kill you if you're immune.
Yes, it's interesting that we have not seen anybody take advantage of that. I wonder, in your opinion, is that something where people are not used to sideboarding, so not quite used to packing more silver bullets, or is that something where they weren't sure that they would actually need it, so they just chose not to bring it?
I think it was a conscious decision. I think they said to themselves, Aladdin made to the finals yesterday, and for whatever reason, they didn't see her coming today. They went like, nah, maybe this isn't going to happen. And if you think about it, it was the correct read. I think there was one Magia and one Aladdin, and they both kind of dropped out into Lucis bracket early and then eventually died off. The upper bracket has been lots of Zaldars and lots of Banebos. So unless you're packing the Spell Eater Bands just for Banebo and you think that's like our Zaldar, not Banebo, and you think that's going to do it, I'm not so sure it would have worked out. I think they focused on other stuff, and you brought up a good point of like doubling up. I think some of them have been doing that. Like the Acid Jet there, for example, that could be like a sideboard card. That could be like the third copy of Acid Jet that they decided to run in the sideboard.
Absolutely. I mean, that Acid Jet right there was definitely really important, and denying Banebo any sort of real healing from the board there, making it that much harder for them to take care of the of Almo that's in play.
I also think there's probably a fair few people who had some form of, like, say, Sever Ties to try and counter Warriors, but if there's no Warrior matchups, the Sever Ties just sits in your sideboard the entire time and you never see it. But it could be there. It's still there, like acting as a threat. It just never got brought in.
Absolutely. I mean, the real question is, does Line Dragon have another Soul Seeker here, which apparently he's going to play, so that he can use it as a way of getting rid of maybe the Disciple, maybe the Gargoyle. So he's going to use that. Interesting choice on the Gargoyle, not the Disciple, considering that his ability could technically get rid of the Gargoyle if he needed to.
Ooh, and healing off the Soul Seeker.
That's, if I'm Dragon, I'm actually happy with that play, because I was going to do that anyways. Yes, it does take, deal 2 damage to me, but that's 2 damage that I'm happy to take to get rid of an ally I didn't have much of a way of getting rid of otherwise. Yeah, the mind control here is... And my
No.
control here is a little bit of a tragic one.
That always hurts every time. You're like, really? The mind control to the face, 5 damage, and it wears down the weapon durability.
Well, that's why playing Shadow Knight is such a risk in this matchup, because yes, it's a high value ally, and yes, it does put in a lot of work, but it's a big risk because it can do that. It can be used just straight against you to hit you for 5.
And this Furion Terror isn't the greatest because it didn't kill Disciple, and then Zaladar's ability is now charged, so it's probably just going to die. And Banebo's ability cannot be used to kill that Disciple either, so it's kind of just like, I guess I have it. I guess I'll throw it out there, but it's not really helping me that greatly.
Yeah.
In this case, I guess the way he played it out, it did deflect some damage off the hero. That's something. But Zaladar does seem to be in a rather commanding position. It's going to be a little tough for Mr. Banebo to crack back in it, but that Soul Seeker, that's how you crack back in it.
I believe this is Soul Seeker number 3, I believe.
Hey man, if you want to use Soul Seekers to do it, then do it.
Yeah, well, that's, Soul Seeker getting rid of, again, Disciple, which is particularly difficult for Banebo to deal with.
Oh yeah, very difficult. In fact, that's probably like a sideboard card that deals with Mr. Banebo.
In all likelihood, yeah. I mean,
I could
if
easily
you're...
see like running the whole 4 set in the sideboard, like having some degree in the main deck and then having the rest in the sideboard, and when you hit like a Zaladar Banebo, and they're all over the place, you just side those Aldmores in.
Yeah, it's definitely a fantastic sideboard card. Yeah, we're seeing Banebo really start, turning the corner, pushing more of an advantage, killing the Thaddeus there, and that Gargoyle's not likely to be on for much either.
You know what? There's 3 gargoyles on the field. That's a lot of gargoyles. It's like gargoyle, gargoyle, gargoyle. Is another one going to get played? Like 4th gargoyle, go!
Well, as we mentioned earlier, the Gargoyles are a pivotal card in this matchup as they're natively very tanky, and they're cards that are typically hard to one-shot, so they soak up a relevant amount of damage, and they demand some form of an answer from the other player, and that's exactly why they see lots of play, and they're usually played as a 4-0, especially by these heroes.
Definitely a top tier play. It also just naturally counteracts the whole first turn advantage thing quite nicely. You play a gargoyle going second, it's generally not going to die that easily.
Oh, absolutely.
It also helps reduce the damage of a Furion Terror. Furion Terror can only hit them for 1, not 2. That makes them less susceptible to being bored by a Furion Terror play.
Oh yeah, I mean, they survive enough to be relevant.
Banebo, though, he doesn't care. He's just like, my ability cuts through you, kill, go away.
Interesting choice there, not killing the Gargoyle with the Soul Seeker for health.
I think that was because it had the 2 health. So Soul Seeker would hit for 1, but Banebo's ability hits for 2 and kills it.
Well, yeah, but he's still attacked with the Gargoyle into the hero, so it's an interesting call there.
He must have been okay with making it. Maybe he just wanted the more damage on the hero.
Maybe. I mean, it's not exactly like the hero's that close to dead. He still has 20 life left, and now comes the Disciple that's gonna not particularly care about Banebo's ability.
Well, you know what? When one gargoyle dies, why not play another gargoyle?
Yep, there's another Gargoyle.
With a Morbid Acolyte to boot. It's Morbid Acolyte Gargoyle. It's 2 very tanky defensive allies, and Disciple of Aldmore. Guess what? That's another tanky defensive ally.
Well, I mean, it's worth knowing that Zaldar's ability is up, so it's entirely possible that he could clean up these 2 allies, but it would require significant resources for an effort from him to do it.
Looks like he is going towards the root of antimatter. And he goes Kazap.
Yes, I believe that was the term that it was that was dubbed for the ability earlier.
Yes, Shazap.
Shazam! It just it makes me
Shazam?
smile. It makes me smile. It's like
So every
it's
time
making me
Zaladar uses his Shazam ability, he turns into a superhero?
yes, that one makes me think of like a giant red outfit with the cape and everything. It just makes you smile.
Zaladar, the superhero. I guess that makes Banebo there the supervillain.
I thought Zaladar was like the just generally accepted villain of everything, though.
He can't be a villain now if he's about Shazam. Shazam's a good guy.
Well, I mean, looking at the artwork for Zaladar there, I mean, doesn't look like somebody want to give a hug.
Well,
But then again,
you might want to give him a hug. You
accept
just have to
Banebo.
worry about static shock.
Yeah, look at over here. He's trying to give you a hug.
That's true. He's trying to give you some electrical hug.
Yes, and we see 2 more allies come down the board for Line Dragon there, and Emig, with 4 cards in hand and the antimatter in play, he may have access to an answer for at least one, maybe all 3 of them.
There's one. Clinks in for 2. Kills off Gargoyle. Kills off Soulseeker. You know, couldn't have asked for a better trade-off Mind Control myself.
Yep. 2 for 1 right there.
And then he Shazams those allies.
Yep, so he's going to clean up the board there.
And just like you wanted, he swept the board for you. He did that just because you asked him to. He's like, are you watching, Lilith? I did it. The board is clear.
So I'm proud of you. You get a
Yes,
gold
me though. The
star.
reason he got the board there is because he just has the sleeve advantage. It's overwhelming his opponent. Those cool cover of night sleeves are just so good.
Which is funny because I believe we saw Line Dragon use sleeves yesterday, I believe.
Yesterday, I think he was. For whatever reason, today he is not. And that is Soulseeker number 4, is it not? This game.
I believe, yes, that is Soulseeker number 4.
Banebo is all about them Soulseekers. And a Disciple of Aldmore is discarded. Soulseeker is gone. Might be
And
very tough for him to draw Soulseeker at this point forward.
Well, it's not the Soulseeker that's the problem. It's the fact that that Disciple is there. It's got him on a 4-turn clock, which is likely less because of the hero ability. So it's going to be a little bit tough for him to get rid of that Disciple, as he doesn't have access to Soulseeker anymore.
Yeah, that's Banebo's biggest thorn in his side is he's just like, that blasted Disciple. And there's another Gargoyle, because, you know, we want more Gargoyles. Always more Gargoyles.
All the gargoyles.
Now, it's important to note that Karash there, it lived unhindered. It can actually be a card that gives that Disciple a bit of trouble. And immediately goes right for the Disciple. Smacks it for 2 damage, only has 2 health left now.
But Line Dragon does have very low health right now.
So that wasn't Soulseeker number 4, because that is...
I guess. Yes. So
You miscounted, sir.
I apologize to everybody. I miscounted.
Unless he just pulls off a 5th one, like, you know, why not? I guess.
Yeah, why not? You know, because who expects the 5th ace in your hand? Who expects that?
He's playing a 40-card Soulseeker deck with 3 Gargoyles in there, and then that 1 Karash you see. Gargoyle smacks in for 2 damage, knocks 1 durability off that Soulseeker, but now it's low enough that Soulseeker will be able to kill Gargoyle. Oh, mind-controlled Karash. That's interesting. That play to me makes it seem like Zaladar kind of wants the game to end. He's trying to wear down that bow and just finish it.
Yeah, agreed. He's trying to push the game
Sadly,
to end now.
That happens, so he gets the 3 health. He goes up to 7. But I still have a feeling Zaladar is aggressively trying to end the game right now.
Yes. Well, it's not exactly like Zaladar has a ton of health himself, but I believe his ability is charged now, so
It is.
at least one, if not both of those allies are done for.
There's 2 allies of his own. At least that Karash is going to die. He might hit the hero. He might hit the Thaddeus. Okay, he does go for hero.
I would not have blamed him if he went for the hero.
I don't blame him going for the hero. I think if I was Zaladar, I'd be trying to put the game away too. Hey, Fearing Terror off the top. Not bad at all. Not bad
Interesting.
at all.
Oh yeah, Fearing Tail stuff, absolutely.
It causes a board wipe where it otherwise wouldn't have.
Although that does mean that a mind control ends the game here.
Well, that age-old question you love to ask. Do you have
Do
it,
you
sir?
have it? Yeah, he's getting his shaking hand all ready and warmed up.
It's the handshake
And
card in his hand. Is it there?
yes, and Emigor hopefully is not slow rolling it.
Yeah, hopefully he isn't just like kind of sitting on the win. I doubt
Yeah,
he is.
'cause-
I have a feeling he is not doing that. Well, that's
So
3
do I.
damage. That's 3 damage, but not 4. So will this be similar to last time? Yep. Rate is same as last time, though Thaddeus is left alone. Hero is now at 1 health. He
And
uses
does he
an
have a Thaddeus?
antimatter
thing?
to dig for whatever. He's just digging for something. Throws away a Soul Reaper. Now, if he's throwing away a Soul Reaper, I can only imagine that's because the other card he drew was like the kill. And now
Yeah.
he plans to kill him with that card he just drew.
Would not surprise me in the slightest that he may have the kill in hand now. Interesting. Dragon drew a card and did not play it. What card could he have drawn that he just did not play?
I'm
And
not
there
sure. Like
is-
something like an Acid Jet or a Leyline Nexus, something of that nature.
Or the handshake.
And zap. He is blasted away. So Emigor takes game 2 there. Have quite the exciting little matchup between these two.
Yes.
These two never fail to put on a show for us in the top 4. They always top 4, apparently.
Apparently.
It's now 1-1. We'll be heading into game 3 to see which one of them takes the decider match.
Yep. They're both kind of sweating bullets here that it's coming down to the wire. Whoever wins this one advances, and whoever loses this one, I believe, is eliminated.
That's true. You got to win this one if you want to keep going. This is the lower bracket. Lower bracket means you lose, you're out.
Yeah. Winning in, I believe.
Yeah, winning in. Win to the top 8. Only there is no top 8 because it's double elimination. So let's just keep winning forever. There is no losing here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, they never failed to deliver. Do we have any updates on any other matches going on now, or?
Actually, if the bracket suggests that this is the match. What has to happen essentially is this one has to finish. The loser of this will take 4th. The winner of this jumps into the semifinal match with Caleo. The winner of that match then goes into the grand finals. The loser of that one gets 3rd, and then those grand finals players play for 1st and 2nd in a best of 5. So yeah, it's one at a time right now. We have to wait through this one.
Yeah, we're getting there, folks. It's getting. We are not there yet, but we are. The end is in sight, folks.
This is the last stretch. It's true.
So who
Looks
do you
like
guys?
the game is up. I believe you were just about to ask them a question.
Yes, I was going to ask, who do they think is, the favorite right now, as one of these players remaining will be our champion? Are there any, are they surprising entries, or anybody who you did not expect to get this far, or anybody who you, looking at this, say is a clear favorite?
Yeah, of the 4 people left, who's going to win this? What do the viewers think? Is it going to be Lying Dragon? Is it going to be Emigor? Is it going to be Caleo, who would be a repeat victory? Or is it going to be Monomax, who's currently chilling in the grand finals spot? Have to say, if I was a betting man, I'd probably be leaning towards Monomax myself, just because he's already way at the end. He has the shortest road to victory for him right now.
Well, absolutely.
Seems a safe bet.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the underdog though, so I'm rooting for Lion Dragon just because he was last chance qualifier in and had
That's
the
true.
hardest road, and he's here in the top 4.
And he fought through the losers bracket to take second place last night. That was definitely a bit of an endurance test, and that's just after he did that last chance qualifier. He was the 16th and final seed for our World Championships. He was the last one we knew about, and he's really been making it count.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's a Shazam. The gargoyle dies off. Wrath of the Forest draws a card.
Which, if I'm Line Dragon, I'm actually okay with that play right there. Because considering my opponent has the antimatter in play, and I did not want to get pushed out of card advantage by him. And as if on cue, the disciple commands a very quick mind control.
It basically summoned mind control out of his deck. It went, come at me, bro, and there it was, mind control.
It's like, no, you have it. Come on.
So Martin JF in the chat has some very insightful strategy into this. He suggests that the guy with the most Dimension Rippers or Wrath of the Forests will win. I don't know why those two cards in particular, wink wink, are the ones he would say. Who could have possibly designed those two cards?
Yes. Mr. Martin JF himself, I believe.
Indeed. And there's a Shadow Vein that's now giving both sides a lot of shadow energy. Man, these guys just love casting their abilities like forever. Seems to be what they do. They're just like zap, zap, zap. Oh, are you
interesting? I don't know if I would have
that he played the
attacked
Shadow Knight? Or that he attacked? Or both?
Yeah, I don't know if I would have attacked there. I mean, I guess I can see why he did, but attacking there kind of guarantees both of his allies dying on board. But that does suck damage away from his hero and does draw him 2 more cards, which allows him to just...
That might be exactly it, actually. He might say, hey, I got Wrath of the Forest. You know what? I can afford to just keep kind of dropping these allies out. And yeah, Shadow Bane's not exactly a terrible thing, because it's giving you shadow energy, too. So you're like, that's okay.
Yeah, the only downside to that is that if a Shriek comes down from Emig, Wrath of the Forest, he draws nothing, and he's left kind of holding the check at the restaurant.
Oh, well, that sucks. He has to pay the bill, does he?
Kind of.
Oh, no. Left with the check. All his buddies ditched him. Their Shadow Vein kills the Shadow Knight, but the Shadow Knight is on top of the graveyard. That means he could get Shadow Knight looped. Will that happen?
It's entirely possible it could. I mean, I wonder if
maybe that was Lion Dragon's plan all along, was to let it die, draw a card, and then have a Shadow Knight loop set up.
As he couldn't predict the order in which his opponent would kill it. Yeah, I think he just wanted to refill his hand while commanding pressure and threats from his opponent so that he has access to more answers and cannot actually outdraw his opponent in this case. I wonder if a card like Perfect Shot could come down here as a way to help deal with the Disciple. Nope, just 2 more threats.
It seems Perfect Shot has decided not to come down, and instead a clone of Disciple has come down. And a Gargoyle, because, these games all about the Gargoyles. Both sides love them. Gargoyles and Disciples. All over. I sort of like, actually, the Plasmahemoth. The Plasmahemoth on Banebo's side, that's like a bit of a rogue element that gives him a potential victory gap.
Definitely.
Just so it turns out it got answered pretty easily this time around, but it is a threat that, like, you can really swing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of those threats that has to be answered essentially immediately, or it will quickly turn the game over.
I mean, for example, the Plasmahemoth sticking, that's going to deal with like a Disciple like right away. And a Disciple can oppose a Plasmahemoth pretty well.
Oh, absolutely not at all.
There's nothing to do with shadow energy, so it doesn't even care.
And with damage output as high as Plasmahemoth, it's now that if you ignore it, it'll just turn the game.
Gargoyle is bunked by a scary lantern and killed.
A scary lantern.
Yes, Disciple Vodmore's weapon is a scary lantern.
Yes.
Has 2 attack power. That lantern must pack some kind of punch. But Shadow Knight won't have any of that. Immediately picks up and replays that Gargoyle, because how dare you try to have this not be a Gargoyle game.
Agreed. And Lion Dragon trying to essentially not kind of damage Race, but not quite, by just pushing as much damage on here as possible, knowing that likely a lot of his opponent's resources are going to be tied up dealing with his 3 imposing allies. Wow, that could not possibly have been more perfect. Yeah, the only downside to that is that Emig is going to have to either use his antimatter next turn, which is going to take up a good chunk of resources, or he's going to have to live off the top, which Lion Dragon has 4 cards in hand, so that may be a defining turn in the game.
There's Soul Seeker coming out to provide some much-needed healing. Because who doesn't like healing? Parash drops, and
Absolutely.
suddenly it's seeming like Mr. Zaldar there. I'm not sure he's in a good position. Do you think he's in a good position?
No, but he has been in worse positions. It is recoverable Soul Reaper or an antimatter and do some sort of healing, or maybe even another Fear and Terror could easily help turn this around.
It's true. There are outs, but does he have any of those outs? There's that 1 card there, and he has 2 potential cards from that antimatter, which he does in fact activate. So now he has 3 potential options. One of those 3 cards pretty much has to pull him out of this, or else he's gonna die off. Is it
Gotta
gonna
imagine this is
happen?
probably the most intense antimatter activation ever, actually. It's
Oh.
one that most intense you can imagine.
Will that do it? Takes out the Aldmore. You can attack with Disciple, take off another durability off that Soul Seeker, but it's still around. That
Indeed.
would suggest he has 6 damage on board. And how much life does Zaldar has 6 health?
6.
I
So
think
this may be-
Zaldar has fallen, and Banebow, Lying Dragon, has moved on. Yeah,
He
and
calls
Igor
it
calls
Lion-
GG.
And Lion Dragon has just worked his way through
He's
again
actually
to the
done
next
a
round.
repeat of what he did yesterday. He again has taken out Emigor in the top 4, making Emigor back-to-back 4th place.
So
And Lying
I
Dragon moves on
believe
to play K.A. Leo in the
Like
lower bracket
for-
finals.
for a second grudge match in 2 days.
He's just on fire. He's doing really good.
He is, but it is so not easy. He's working hard for this.
He's a bit of a grinder, if you ask me. He's grinding them games out like a madman.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He's winning in style, and every match you've seen with Lion Dragon has pushed him to the absolute brink, and through sheer skill and force of will, he has relied heavily on his endurance to push him through to the win.
He's a trooper, that's for sure.
So, hard-working, hard-playing player. So, whenever these 2 are ready, we will line up their match. But you gotta wonder, does this take a toll on him? He's been playing lots of long, hard-fought hours over the last 3-4 days, and each tournament's been 6, 7, 8 hours apiece. I wonder if that at some point that starts to take a toll.
I definitely think it does. It catches up to you. There's so much of an element of endurance in this competition, especially now where they've done the whole day one, and now you're on day two, and it's like the same people almost, except for Busty in the top four. Like those guys have played a lot of games to get here.
Yeah. Yeah, Busty was there yesterday, and he was tragically knocked out earlier today.
Essentially, Busty was third place yesterday, and then he got swapped out for Monomax. Monomax is guaranteed at least first or second place this time around.
Hey everyone. Just
Hey,
got
welcome
in.
back, Mr.
So
Gondori.
I was just checking, and yeah, they played earlier as well today. So they've already had one slugfest, best of three. And then they're meeting again in the semi-finals. So Caleo emerged there victorious. So he's lost 1 to Monomax. Lion Dragon dropped down. He's fought through. They're meeting again to see who goes into the final. We've got our last three. If it's Caleo and he wins, he's a champ on the spot. So we've still got the possibility of that. This is really exciting.
Yeah, that's true. We do have the possibility of just having a repeat champion who just like instantly says, "Yeah, I'm the champ. Don't even need a playoff."
So I've got the bracket up at the moment on the stream.
Indeed,
Showing
I
that
see again. Add
again
muted.
they meet again. So if I can scroll it properly, you see the lovely adverts there. So I've scrolled down. Caleo meets Lion Dragon. Another Banebo Zaladar match. They're
The exciting
exciting
thing
though,
about
these
this-
two.
This is actually over the course of the 2 days. This is their fourth time meeting, because they played twice yesterday, and then they played twice again today. So this is the fourth meetup between them.
Wow.
Those two
Quite
just
the
are just going at
rivalry.
each other's throats constantly.
Okay, I guess they, well, Leo's been waiting a while. Lion Dragon needs to get his deck ready. I'll bring up the match screen. Anyway, I'm not sure if I've commentated on any of their meetups today, so I
Here's
look
our
forward to
chance.
watching this one.
Should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
Lion Dragon, he's probably had a harder 3 days than me, I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what his family situation is. Obviously, kids take their toll. But in terms of Shadow Era, wow.
Oh yeah.
Leo as well, he's been around. Okay, he wasn't in the last chance qualifier, but in terms of this tournament, he's given himself a lot of work to do. Staying
He's
in all this
constantly
time.
been winning. He's been in that winner's circle, and like right up until now, this is the first time he hasn't been in like a winner's match. This is his first time in the lower bracket. Well, maybe that might even affect his psyche somewhat, to know that he is like down in the lower bracket, not in the upper bracket. Like I wonder if that affects his confidence at all, or if he'll shrug it off and be able to take out Lion Dragon again.
Well, yeah, I think he's down in the lower bracket, but he's met up with somebody else who he put in the lower bracket. So,
yeah. Well, again, this is their fourth meetup, and not only is it their fourth meetup, but Leo has won all three of the previous meetups. He hasn't lost to the Lion Dragon.
wow, could this be the one for Lion Dragon to take? If he does take it, then we're on for our best of 7 super face-off at some point. Not today, unless they want to play today. It's unlikely. At some point within the next week or so. Would that be scheduled to their convenience? But it should be soon, so we can crown our champ, right?
It'll be scheduled to their convenience. I'll basically be tossing them forum PMs and getting them to do a time they both like, and then I'll announce it, and we can hopefully stream it. Stream a best of 7 playoff between two of the best, assuming we need one. There's always that chance that Leo just decides to take them both. Oh, I think I saw a waiting message there. It seems like their game might be coming up at any minute now. Oh yeah, they're in.
Right. In that case, boom. We've joined. I was just confirming how Leo got through, and it was as their Asia Regionals champ. So
yep,
very recent.
He actually had a very strong showing in the 2013 regionals for Asia.
And then Monomax is still in. He was the America's champ a year ago.
Yep.
Lion Dragon just recently won the last chance qualifier. So between those three people, the span of qualification is like more than a year.
That's
Two
true,
very
actually.
recent qualifiers.
And the one who qualified a year ago is the one that's in like the first or second spot, the grand finals already. On the first ally is played, a Karash.
We've seen a few of those. Good card, solid card.
Hey, with all the Banebo and Zaldar,
Yeah.
not surprised.
Usually a solid card, but not now.
Yeah, now they just die all the time.
Just getting zapped.
They get shazapped and shazammed and bopped and pinged and booped.
So, Lion Dragon just took out a Zaladar, but he got taken out by a Zaladar earlier by Caleo. Well, Caleo got taken out by a Banebo to be knocked down into this bracket, right?
Yeah.
So, it could
In
go
other
either
words,
way.
it's very hard to predict matchup quality. Who knows? Sometimes Banebo does it, sometimes Zaldar does it.
Even though they can't change their main deck, when they come into this first match, they'll be able to choose what to sacrifice based on what worked last time.
Yeah.
Have to remember what they saw in that person's deck. Morbid Acolyte hits the field.
That's actually a great point. They've already played 3 games against each other. They know exactly what each has.
They might get a bit mixed up just because they've met so many Banebos and Zaladars. I guess that's the mark of a top player as well, remembering what happened in each game.
You might all even take mental notes and say, okay, this one had this guy has this guy has this. You might start to piece it all together.
We know that Leo will bring out the Dimension Ripper on occasion and stir things up. It's a great start by Lion Dragon here.
The crazy bag of tricks known as Dimension Ripper. It does crazy things. I think Leo ran it in both... he ran it in the Amber, and I think he runs it again in the Zaladar.
That Dr. Ripper, I think somebody's going to have to pay commission to Martin JF for designing that card. They did say Eternal Fame and Glory when he designed it. That's what the winners got for designing cards back in the day. I think it's fair to say he's got that. It's shown up in the World Championship finals. Both days.
Yeah. In 2 completely different factions. One in the human, one in the shadow.
If we could manipulate the cost of in-game merchant now for Dimension Ripper and Soul Seeker, I think they probably go up. But as it happens, I don't think the card prices change much anymore. If the auction house was live, which it will be if we meet our Kickstarter goal, then I'd expect to see these cards going up in value. Crippling Blow was a hot one yesterday. Retreat. Death Mage Stadius, he's an MVP today. Morbid Acolyte Gargoyle. Gargoyle's just a common. You can get him in any class deck. Not the foil one though.
Quite the
I'm
great
sitting on
comment.
quite a lot of foils. I've got a lot of foil gargoyles.
It's definitely true. And as a on cue, another gargoyle is played because, we were talking about him, so he decided to show up.
Might as well, yeah.
Confirming to us all that he is in fact a common. Common both in rarity and common in play.
Dr. Ripper, epic in rarity and common in play.
Yeah, that's another one I could definitely see. I could definitely see the auction house being a hit for Dimension Ripper. He would be a big one to go for. The Dr. Ripper himself.
Dr. Ripper. I'm hoping to see more cards that we designed in this match than Martin JF designed. That's my hope.
I don't know, man. I just keep seeing so many Dimension Rippers in Wrath of the Forest. I don't know if we can keep up.
Well, Antimatter was one of mine, so that's one to me. But Wrath of the Forest is down, so that's one to Martin, my nemesis.
If only we had designed Gargoyle, we'd be fine.
Well, Gargoyle got tweaked a little bit because he used to have a keyword, and we were cleaning those up, weren't we?
Yeah.
So we managed to put our mark on him.
Yeah, we adjusted him. That's what we did.
I said, no, you don't need a keyword. Keyword on just one card, probably not worthwhile. And he's the only card to date with just all damage is reduced by 1 to him. So probably for the best we didn't keyword it. But then later on we might give that ability to other cards as well. as and when. Kurt is immune just to ability damage, or rather he reduces it by 1.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any Kurts this weekend. Where's Kurt? What's he doing? Maybe he's polishing his white helm or something.
He's not. He's definitely not reducing ability damage. That's what I can say for sure.
He would have been useful in this matchup, although it wouldn't work on Bainbow. But when Saladar's running around, Kurt would be like laughing it off, saying, "Yeah, you're trying to do 3 damage. Sorry, only 2."
That's always the key to Bainbow, is that he ignores all those little damage reduction abilities. He's like, sorry.
That change that we made really brought him up. Call of the Crystals originally, he did not do that. It didn't blast through things, and he always struggled with gargoyles and sandworms.
Gargoyles and sandworms just
that
they
one little
just wrecked them.
tweak, suddenly made him a lot more viable. And then I think the addition of Furion Terror and Iron-Eyed Karash, that brought him up even higher. Perfect shot as well. That's another key card.
He went from being a guy that was like, nah, this isn't good. This is a bad hero. No one wants to play a Shadow Hunter, to then being a guy that's like, whoa, this is like the best. Here he is, like in the World Championships, way up in like top 3. It's true. A couple little tweaks made that guy just go, whoop, way up.
And that's what we aim to do in the design team. Lower heroes, we try and encourage them to get a bit of help now and again. Zaladar wasn't one of the top heroes in Core of the Crystals, but when he got a few toys like Antimatter, like
A Shadow Vein.
Shadow Vein, yes.
That one's been showing up a lot. Interference is definitely. Poochie actually qualified thanks to interference. Killed Millstalker with it.
Yeah, that was nice. Morbid Acolyte, he makes good use of that. Rainbows, thinking who to zap. 2 allies, please.
Zap some good, he does.
Ooh, Soul Seeker for a bit of heal.
There's that healing. Clutch healing, as it were.
That Zaladar is starting to hemorrhage health.
Yes, he's getting a little bit low on health. Way down to 14 now.
I've not been counting the number of allies in his dead pile, but probably 4 or 5. You can find that.
There's a healthy handful in there.
Which could turn into a healthy load of health.
That is actually exactly accurate.
But that gargoyle's going to snuff it soon.
There's a mind control, takes out a gargoyle, and really helps just remove the durability from all that stuff. The Wrath just dies, and I think the Soul Seeker's down to 1 now.
The Wrath is gone, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, Soul Seeker's at 1 durability, so it's going to go on the next shot.
I think the gargoyle on the board there for Leo. Is that on 1? It's on 1. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's looking great for Lion Dragon now. Then another Wrath of the Forest.
Yeah, with that second Wrath of the Forest, it's looking very nice indeed for Lying Dragon. He seems to be pulling quite a bit ahead.
So this could be the one out of the 4 that he takes. And this is only the first game, but...
it could be. It could be. Maybe this is a sign of the games to come. Maybe he's going to finally get his vengeance against Leo, who just keeps defeating him every single time they clash. He drops the Thaddeus. That puts an extra ally in the graveyard if he plans to do a Soul Reaper. Goes from Mind Control. So Garg's dead, 1 off of Wrath, but Wrath still has 3 durability left, so it's perfectly fine.
Gives him the heal. Ready to find more answers. Ooh.
Uh-oh. Plasma begins.
Yeah, and he's just used... That's the kind of card you really want to use a Mind Control on.
He just used 2 mind controls, and then there's Plasmahemoth, who's like, Neener, you can't get me now.
So do or die. Well, this is the time for the Soul Reaper then, if he's got one. Because otherwise I think he's within range of death. Digging.
Yeah, that's true.
Got rid of an antimatter.
He will be dead if he does nothing here to really contest the board or heal.
There's 9 damage there, and I think Bainbow's got his ability built up. So he has to deal with one of those, or heal. Even if he heals up, he's looking at a lot of damage. interesting. Ooh, Shadow Vein. There we go. That's a handy move. Right, Banebo's got 7 on his ability, which means he can do it 3 turns in a row here. He can do it here, the next one, and the next one. So that's 6 damage. That Garg is going to cause some trouble, but die as a result. But the Wrath of the Forest drew him a card. SK hits the field, draws another card. The pressure from Lion Dragon is huge here now.
Oh yeah, it's dangerous right now. How much life is he at? 6? That is pretty low. It's somewhat grim right now.
This is just really great pressure play by Lion Dragon. Just keep the pressure on. That Wrath of the Forest and the Shadow Knight. I wonder if the Shadow Knight was drawn from the Wrath of the Forest, because then he brought in another card which he played. Really nice work.
That's very possible, actually. I think it was critical that he got that second Wrath of the Forest down. That really kind of kept him in the game.
Fury Terror's helped him take out that huge Shadow Knight, which would have
helped a ton.
him.
He was pretty much going to lose, if not for that Fury and Terror.
If the weapon hits now, it's all over. A weapon's hit, so Garg.
So we got the Prophet here, Gondorian. It was correctly predicted the ending of the game.
Lion Dragon takes the first one.
Well, that's a good start for Lion Dragon. Now, can he finally defeat Leo? If he defeats Leo, that means that Leo is not going to be a repeat champion. There's going to be a new winner for Day 2, and there will be a best-of-7 playoff at some later point. That would be kind of cool. I'd kind of like to see a best-of-7 playoff and see how that works out.
Well, I'd love to see what heroes turn up, because
yeah, they get to craft completely different decks for that best-of-7 playoff. So you're right, it could be like a human shadow battle. Wouldn't that be something?
Could be Jericho versus Victor.
And that best-of-7 does include sideboarding, so they can tweak and tech for each other in each of the games, Game 2 and onwards.
And they're going to take about 5 minutes to sideboard now. Hopefully not too long. Is there a time limit on sideboarding?
No set time limit, but yeah, or roughly about 5 minutes sounds about right. I'm sure they won't take too much longer than that. It is late enough in the competition where you definitely want to give them enough time to side appropriately. Don't want to rush them, you know?
No, definitely not. With so much riding on it. I mean, if Leo was to win both days and end up world champion from winning both days, then that is that's just an awesome achievement. So
yeah,
he's got the chance to do that.
He has the chance to kind of like end it early, get an immediate victory, get the immediate iPad, like no playoff. He knows he's won it. That's something to fight for. That's really important to him. At the same time, Lion Dragon's the opposite. He just wants the chance to get into the 7 playoff. He just wants to get there so he can have a chance of getting that iPad. They both want it, definitely, so they're going to like pull out all the stops.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, sound like a tag team match here with the broadcasting. But yes, I mean, Dragons fought long and hard just to get the opportunity to be in that, that 7-game final. And if you're Leo, you don't want to push it to that point because it's already been hard and exhausting to get to where you are right now. And if you can, you'd like to just close it out and take your prize and be happy. But Dragon has been in your way all last 2 days, and you've been able to step past him, but he's going to give you every effort this time to make sure you can't.
It honestly is quite the little rivalry we have building up between these two.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're Lion Dragon, you know that your path to being a champion runs through Mr. K.A. Leo, and he is quite the speed bump.
Yeah, he's won every time. He's been not even a speed bump. He's just been like a straight-up stop sign. Just stop.
Well, he starts out as a speed bump, and then comes game 3, which usually goes to, and then he's like, yeah, game 3, stop sign, go veer left.
Or as Zaldar likes to say, hey, just sit there and die, would you?
Yes, brings back to the days of the hero voice contest.
Oh yeah, do you have the voice of a hero? Do you?
Yes.
That was a good long while back. I had forgotten about that.
Yes. That was a long, long time ago. But absolutely. I mean, Chris, do you think that at this point where they face each other several times, they've each played this matchup several times today, you think they sideboard the same way they've been siding all day, or do they anything differently this time?
Well, at this point, this is the second time they've met up. They both really do know each other's decks. I think they know exactly what they need for each other. I mean,
Okay,
that's
so
part of a rivalry, right? You really get to know your opponent. You know exactly what to expect from them. You know exactly how to like answer them and how to counteract their plays. You're going to do what needs to be done. Now, who's your prediction, though? Who do you think wins
my
this?
prediction? I'm gonna go with Flying Dragon on this. I'm gonna say this is the one time that he finally is able to push past as Mr. Caleo. I'm gonna go with Dragon on this. What about you?
And it appears the game is up. Now you say Leo.
Care to be a contrarian?
You know what? Yes. I'm going to say Lying Dragon wins this. He won
I
game
just said
one,
Flying
and he
Dragon.
is. I thought you said Leo.
No, I said Flying Dragon.
Ah, okay. I'm not a contrarian then. I'm a you.
Not a contrarian.
Well, yes. Then I'm saying Lying Dragon because honestly, I think he's hungrier at this point. He hasn't got the guaranteed in. He just won
Yeah.
game one. He has momentum now. This is Leo's first time being in the losers bracket, so he's probably already a little bit shaken up. You know, he's like, oh, why am I here? I was supposed to win everything. Because think about that. He went from being undefeated all the way till now, and now he's not undefeated anymore. You know, it's like suddenly he isn't so invincible anymore. Maybe that gives Lying Dragon a little boost in confidence and pushes out the victory.
Well, absolutely. I don't think it's so much of a confidence boost. I think it's just a boost of just intense decision making and just being aggressive in the matchup. Whereas Lee was very, very patient, and so was Lion Dragon, but Dragon might just become on be a little bit more aggressive now. Now we are in the match, and we see the first tech card coming in with the disciple coming down on the exact turn 4.
Man, Disciples all over. Disciples always showing up every turn. Disciples are like, I run this show. When it's all Zaldar and Bambo, I run this show.
Like, get out of my
Yesterday,
house.
it wouldn't have run much because it would have just been like, cripple it, and you'd be like, But now today, it's like, I run this show.
Yeah, like, get out of my house.
Disciple of Aldmore has a house and a lantern, and it wants you out of the house. It's going to smack you with the lantern and make it
And
happen.
the shriek right there might be the relevant play. Because the second disciple, which Lion Dragon is going to have a hard time dealing with.
Oh, geez, you're right. 2 Disciples and no Wrath of the Force to draw cards with.
No.
Well, in the last game, he played a second Wrath, but I mean, I don't want to play a second Wrath right now. There's 3 allies on the board. They'll just chip away the durability. It'd be a waste of a card.
Yeah.
What do you do?
You have to drop a threat. Furion is a fantastic option there.
It's good, but it's not great because those disciples are like, Bambo can't touch me. Gargoyle's like, I can
One
survive
of them
that.
is now within Soul Seeker range.
That's true, but it's still 3 threats to, well, what's soon to be none because that Furion, I just don't see it surviving.
Well, Bambo's ability is up next turn, so he can use the ability on the Gargoyle and maybe another threat play this turn. And he can, if he has it, Soul Seeker and kill the other disciple.
So he needs a Soul Seeker then. That's what you would say is the linchpin. He needs that to really get back in this.
Soul Seeker is the play he wants right now. And we're seeing right now, Mr. Leo is turning the corner trying to be the aggressor. Just resourcing up to 5 and hoping he can draw a 3-cost or less ally that he can just slam on the board here. Or even in antimatter, which we just put in a lot of work.
Oh, he blasts away the Furion.
Indeed. Ah,
Man, another one. Okay, that's starting to work out. The second Furion, now suddenly those disciples don't feel so invulnerable.
yeah, it
Now,
might
just like you said last time, the Soul Seeker will kill that other one.
well, that'll help him climb back in the health race. But this may be one of those situations where Lon Dragon adjusted his sideboarding a little bit and included maybe an extra Furion this time, anticipating a full suite of disciples, and just wanted to go for it so that he has an option to really fight back against it.
Now that was a very good Shadow Font right there, killing off that Fury and putting even more damage on the Banebo. Banebo's health is suddenly looking really low, and there isn't much board presence on his side.
Oh,
At the
absolutely.
Gargoyle is about the best he could have done in terms of just being defensive on that particular turn after a Poison Arrow follow-up.
Yeah. I wonder if that Gargoyle is going to be met with a quick mind control, as there's not really many other profitable ways to deal with it.
Oh, he chooses to just take away the ally that was going to die anyways. Draws 3 cards, That's profit right there. Why not?
Yeah. That's an efficient play. He was going to die anyways. There wasn't anything to do about it, so might as well, profit off the death of it. And another...
Another Acolyte. Good stuff. Now I think Banebo there is about to drop to 8.
True. But he's likely to catch a Soul Seeker at some point.
So is it possible, like, did we jinx Lying Dragon this game? But we both predicted him going to win, and now it's like there's a game where he's dying really quickly. Did we do this?
Yes, we did it. You, me, and our smoking cauldron.
I blame that cursed lantern.
Well, he has his own disciple now, and that which might command a mind control, mind you.
With how low his health is getting, mind control is near fatal right now. Like, Banebo does not want to see a mind control.
Agreed, but again, he's almost halfway through his deck, and we do know he has 4 Soul Seekers, so it's entirely possible that at some point he is going to catch one of them. And whenever he does catch it, it's going to be, if he catches it soon, which is the relevant part, it'll allow him to really crawl back into this.
Well, there's Banebo, zapping some stuff. Kills off an Acolyte. And kills off the Dad. There you go. Suddenly it looks like he's right back in it.
I don't want to say he's right back in it, but he's
starting to clear the board.
Possibly a little bit further from death, but a shriek here just ends the game.
Oh,
and
geez.
there it does.
Yeah, we jinxed him. Okay, well, you called that again. Good prediction. He shrieks on cue and pops him and ends that one.
Indeed.
That means we're 1-1. So maybe Leo will just defeat Lying Dragon for that 4th time in a row.
Maybe. And he'll have to just deal with being, having to deal with having this monkey on his back until next year.
And a lad Admirable says, "Man, stop jinxing my pal Lion Dragon. We're sorry about that. We didn't mean to. We had good intentions when we thought he'd win."
I think it'd be fair to say if Lion Dragon doesn't win this, then he would be the best loser in the history of Shadow Era. He's finalist 2 years ago. Still made it to the finals last year. Keeps running to this guy. So
I think the
best loser in the history of Shadow Era.
A better way to say it, I think, would be to say he's the perfect rival, because the rival usually loses to our hero. The hero keeps
I think Kevin's the one who started the call, and I don't know if he was having internet issues. So who is back here now? GDC, are you here?
Are we back?
Okay. Can you guys hear us in the chat there? Okay, awesome. So we are at least live, and they can hear us. That's great.
All right, good.
Okay, we're back.
Okay,
Back
yeah.
for real.
So yeah,
After our epic call drop.
our chat call dropped, and we weren't altogether sure exactly what caused it. So somebody else was hosting it.
Skype caused it.
Yeah. What
Damn
are you talking
Skype.
about? Skype caused it. It's always
Yeah.
Skype. Blasted Skype.
Yeah, I blame Microsoft. Hashtag. No, I made the snap call that probably had to do with somebody else who was hosting the call, so I figured I'll try and maybe fix it, and it did, so we're back here. So awesome. Fantastic segue. Great
To be fair,
good job.
Skype has managed to run like a...
You're echoing like you're standing on top of a mountain.
Yeah, you are echoing. I think you are in fact on top of a mountain. Good point.
That is not good. I fixed it now.
Yes, you did. Good job.
When
And their
Skype
game has started. Perfect start.
Right, let's jump in. Where?
Right on the top there, your page. I can see it
Oh,
on the
right,
screen.
good. Let's jump in there. Sorry everybody about that. When Skype cuts us off, it resets all my settings, it unmutes me.
Yeah, it causes the crazy echo thing.
All bad, yes. You heard my fan in the background there, my number one fan. Um, I'm streaming off a Windows PC, and I'm talking on a Mac, and the Mac, I'm in 2 Skype calls at the same time. It's complicated just because of that fan.
Yeah, it basically means he's soaking up enough radiation to make this work for you guys that you should appreciate it.
The heat in this room is super hot as well.
Yes.
So we're going to have a 3-way as well here, aren't we? 3-way commentary on this one.
Sure.
The trio.
Because we had such a commentary on the last chance qualifier where Lion Dragon ended up winning.
We did. It's true.
Yeah.
Will this bring him fortune? Good fortune.
Judging by last game, apparently not. We'll do the opposite. But that's too
But I
bad.
wasn't involved in the last one. So we swapped around, didn't we? So
That's somewhat true. It's true. The last time we tried to
down.
bid him well, we screwed up. There's Morbid Acolyte coming down and being the bro he is.
Ah, right. So Kevin's computer died, and as a result, it took us all out. That's what happened. Because Kevin was hosting the call, so down Windows, down Microsoft.
Oh, it didn't just die. It blue screened to death on him.
Blue
It did,
screen.
it did the blue screen like, that's trademark Microsoft right there.
Yeah, that's been a while since I've seen a blue screen, but then again, I go out of my way to try and like appease the computer gods.
That's quite good record for Windows to stay up for 8 hours anyway, isn't it? Like blue screen death.
Oh yeah, very good. I think that's fabulous.
That's tragic that the operating system and the computers are so unstable that if you can operate them for a certain amount of hours, that means they did a good job. That's a little bit tragic that's the
Good job,
expectation.
Hal.
Look at this board flood happening here.
Well, Dragon's just trying to be aggressive. He's getting the Acolyte down, which is exactly what you want to do in this matchup. And unfortunately, he's not able to kill the Gargoyle, but he's unfortunately able to kill the Gargoyle, and at least one, probably 2 of his allies are done for this turn.
Looks like we've got a Microsoft fanboy in the chat room suggesting that Kevin's box isn't legit and Microsoft's fine.
Ah, I see. That must have been it.
That begs the question: what is a legit box? Like, what does that even mean? Like,
Oh, I know the
It's
answer.
a Mac, isn't it? It's a Mac.
It's a box that's too
It's a
legit.
Mac running
to quit.
Windows by a boot camp.
If it's too legit to quit, then it's a legit box.
I'm not even going to comment on boot camp.
What?
The board swing that's just happened here, though. Let's comment on
Yeah.
this then. Though it's come back again now. That Disciple is going to be causing trouble.
Havoc.
It's a good job that Zaladar's putting weapons here because there's not a lot of ability damage available for Zaladar apart from his own ability and mind control. So that weapon plus, say, a Garg that's stuck on the board or an Acolyte, they can help deal with stuff like Disciple of Oldmore. So that's ended up being key.
Those disciples they're really pivotal in this matchup, and it really is the Soul Seeker on Banebo's side, the Mind Control on Zaldar's side. Those cards become very, very important because they're like the one of few tricks you have to actually kill the things. They just survive so long. In a Zaldar Banebo mirror, everything except the Disciple basically dies like snap your fingers. It just all keeps getting zapped and killed off. But then you have Mind Control, which changes that. You have Soul Seeker, which like gives healing and makes the Disciple finally die. They become very important counter cards.
Well, absolutely, but the key thing right here is antimatter is going to quickly become relevant unless Line Dragon is able to get some sort of a draw down of his own.
That's definitely true.
And that Shadow Knight's putting on quite a threat now. Mind Control's just come down, so will we see another one?
I think that's the question he's posing to Leo. Do you have a second one? And considering him resourcing up to 6, I'm guessing his answer is no. But the real question is, does he have a Thaddeus? And he has no answer at all.
He didn't spend his 3 resources either. He just kind of left him. Now, is that because he didn't want to feed something to the Shadow Knight, or because he legitimately just had nothing?
I'm going to bet that he legitimately has nothing, because feeding to the Shadow Knight is not that bad in this matchup, considering that you have Soul Reaper, so you can eventually, at some point, gain value off your guy, even if they were killed. But
now the second Shadow Knight's down. Super pressure.
So, and considering he asked him the question again, you didn't have it last turn, do you have it now? And his answer is still no. And he's using antimatter for the Thaddeus, and it appears he has caught the Thaddeus.
So Line Dragon will be able to put 7 damage on the hero, potentially, if he goes to the hero. The Plasma beam off again. Running around causing trouble. He's decided to take out the DMT because that zapping ability is able to combine with the weapon. So
he's just going to keep up the pressure of, you haven't had the mind control last few turns, but I'm going to force you to have that. And antimatter takes up so many resources, you're going to have a way to deal with these guys. And that's going to be something that's going to push you to the brink.
Shadow Font will help take out the Shadow Knight.
Yes. And you can see that. I'm guessing he already had the font in hand, but he activated the antimatter anyways, so he can try and dig to make sure he gets a mind control for when he does need it.
He needs it now. He needs it real soon.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm guessing he already had, but he's just digging because he knows he's going to.
Weapon would do as well, I guess, no, because he could.
Shadow Vein would do. Fear and Terror would do because it would kill the behemoth and weaken the acolyte and the ally he has to deal with. And he just has not really caught it. And could this be the unfortunate draw? Could this unfortunate draw be the undoing of Mr. Leo's fantastic run?
He's able to get rid of that plasma behemoth, so...
Well, there's at least that, so that helps his position a little bit. But having to use a bad Santa to, draw into his answers really helped Line Dragon just continue his pressure.
More pressure now.
He just picked up that plasma behemoth. It's back in his hand again now.
Yeah, and he added 2 more must-answer threats to the board.
I'm not sure Saladar can come back from all this. There's just too much stuff. Can't answer it all at once.
No, mind control doesn't do it here.
Does a lot of damage, sure. It kills the Shadow Knight. It's not bad,
5,
but it's still you're still in a position
on the board,
where
isn't there?
I don't know. Yeah, there's ability.
Soul Reaper.
4 or 5.
Soul Reaper.
Yeah, Soul Reaper is his only answer.
He's
here.
got it.
Soul Reaper.
He's got it.
So he's going to survive for like at least one more turn, but we know a Plasmahemoth is probably going to drop back down.
Yeah.
And there
Yeah.
it is. And there's Wrath of the Forest to really just kind of rub it in. Now it's like, oh yeah, even if you kill my guys, doesn't matter. I'm just going to draw off and get more threats. I'll like endlessly
Not
pressure
that
you.
much heal there, did he?
No, he only got like 8. So that means he had like 4 allies in the graveyard at the time he played it.
Staring down 11
Well,
damage.
Soul Reaper is
plus
not
the
an
hero
answer
ability.
for him again, and having to activate Antimatter is not really going to help his case.
That wasn't good either. He was forced to discard a Disciple of Voldemort. As we've seen this matchup, that's not the ally you want to discard.
And this may well mean that he is done.
He's
Streak
got
was
11
nice.
on the board. He's got 13 on the board, so that's it. Lion Dragon has done it.
Wow.
Finally.
In the
Finally.
fourth set, the fourth matchup between them, he finally takes them
Took
out.
4 tries before Dragon
Well
to
done,
finally
Leo.
pull it out.
See you in the best of 7. We've definitely
so
got a
KA
best
Leo
of
is
7 now.
definitely fighting someone in this epic best of 7. That means that Leo also got 3rd place in this tournament.
Super props to him.
Yeah, he made a
So-
very strong performance, but hey, Lion Dragon finally took it off him.
Does that mean the finals for today is a Banebow Mirror?
I think
It
it does
is.
actually. Banebow Mirror. There you go.
If Monomax quickly ousted Leo with Banebow, and Lion Dragon is using a Banebow himself.
And Lion Dragon hasn't run into Monomax yet today, has he?
Don't
know
believe
if he's.
so.
I don't think he's
Lion
played
Dragon was
Mirror.
on top, Monomax was on the bottom area, so no, they avoided each other in the brackets.
And did they meet yesterday?
Let me pull up that bracket and check.
Remember?
Maybe they did in the lower. Not sure that they did. They definitely didn't in the lower end. Maybe
I
they
think
did
at this
early on.
point I'm going to cut the stream and then start it again, so that we definitely can bring you the whole final without cutting it.
Without an
so
awkward interruption.
Give them a
yes.
break. Give them a break, and for 5 minutes to get their decks ready, then come back in again with the new stream. So we're going to briefly go off air now and then come back. So thanks everybody. I will see you again in a few minutes.